I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me.
Aloha, welcome to Unity Church of Maui's Sunday service. A man went to a psychiatrist with a worrying problem. He told the psychiatrist that every time I get in bed, I feel like someone's under my bed. And the psychiatrist says, yes, I can help you. You'll need to see me every week for a whole year, and it'll cost you $100 a visit. So the man never went back. And the psychiatrist ran into the man in the grocery store and he said, how come you never came back? And the man said, well, a friend of mine was able to heal me for free. And the psychiatrist said, how did he do that? And the man said, it was easy. He told me to cut the legs off of my bed. The Mayo Clinic did a study that showed that 80 to 85% of all of its cases are attributed to stress. That stress is the number one cause of so many horrific diseases. So what causes stress? Anxiety and worry cause stress. Ever feel any of that? Everybody is worried sometime in their life, and worrying can be beneficial and it can also be very painful and harmful and cause damaging effects to our health and to our body and to our minds. A quote attributed to Buddha inspired me to write this talk. And that quote says, the secret of health for both mind and body is not to mourn for the past, not to worry about the future, or not to anticipate troubles, but to live in the present moment wisely and earnestly. I love that. So this is the second talk in a 3-talk series based on this quote. And today's talk comes from the second part of that quote, which says not to worry about the future nor anticipate future troubles. So, we know about worry. We know so many aspects of it, and I found some fun ideas about worrying. One of them says, a day of worry is more exhausting than a week of work. Another one says, worry is the interest paid on a trouble before it's due. I love that. And this one's great too. It says, worry is wasting today's time to clutter up tomorrow's opportunities with yesterday's problems. The reason worry kills more people than work is that more people worry than work. And the last cute phrase that I like says, you wouldn't worry so much about what people think about you if you knew that they don't. Isn't that true? Yeah, most of us, I'm sure, spend much of our adolescence worrying about what people thought of us. And the truth of it is, nobody is really concerned with us as individuals to the extent that we think. Worrying, when we worry, we are actually projecting ourselves into the things we worry about in the future. So we're not able to be present in the moment because we're anticipating what's going to happen in the future. And of course you say, well, worrying can be beneficial, right? Well, of course. Worrying can guide our actions by raising our awareness to potential harm. So worrying can also lead to safer behavior, such as wearing a seatbelt or wearing a mask when we're in public, or not texting when we're driving, or studying or preparing for a future event or for a test or something in school. And worrying can also be damaging. Worrying, studies show, can cause insomnia, can cause digestive issues, memory problems, skin and hair damage, fertility issues, can cause trouble with our heart and our cholesterol. It can keep us, of course, from being present in the moment, so we can't be real because we're sort of present physically, but our mind is off somewhere else, anticipating, thinking about something in the future. When we are worrying, we're not focusing our attention on what is present for us right now. The pandemic has given many of us opportunities to be worried. True for you? As minister of Unity Church of Maui, when things started shutting down as a result of the pandemic, I had to look at, what am I going to do? What's the church going to look like if we don't have services on Sunday morning? What if nobody comes? What if people lose interest? What if I don't know what to do? How am I going to present Sunday services to keep this amazing movement of unity moving forward? And I thought, well, what if I lose my job? What if I had to go work at Costco? What if I had to go back into teaching? And all this stuff started to go through my mind, and my mind was really going crazy. And then I checked into my body and what my body was experiencing as a result of these fearful thoughts. And I noticed that my heart was pumping faster, my adrenaline was moving faster, and even as I talk about it now, I can kind of embrace some of those feelings of my pulse raising and my mind just going quickly. And blood is, I realize scientifically, when we are in this fight or flight place, the blood goes away from the parts of our brains that we need to be creative, right? And it's all about, how can I act in this moment right now to create something and do something productively? Ever felt that way? I'm reminded of the work of Byron Katie. And she asks us, when we get into this sort of anxious place, to ask ourselves 4 questions. And so this is what I did. The first question is this true? Is this fear that I'm embracing, is it absolutely true? And I thought, well, it feels true. It feels like it's possible. And then I asked myself the second question, which is it really true? And I started to think, okay, that sort of broadens the idea. Is it really true? Is it absolutely true? Well, no, okay, I know it's possible that it may not be true, that things will work out and our ministry will continue as usual, but there's still a little possibility that things may change in a dramatic way. And then the third question is, how do you react when you believe that thought? And then, of course, I realized if I believed that thought and got into that panic mode, I experience what happens in my body, right? And I know that when I'm in that place, my capabilities shut down and they sort of become focused on fight or flight. So I'm not able to operate at my highest level. And then the fourth question is, if you didn't have that thought, how would you be? How would you be without that thought? How would I be without that thought of freaking out, of being worried? And I thought, wow, that just changes the whole paradigm for me in that moment to realize that, okay, what if I don't have that thought? Then all of a sudden, I can relax and I can be free to be in this moment right now and to be more present. And I have an affirmation today that is, I release every thought of anxiety and worry and rest in the assurance that all things are working together for my highest good. And just take a breath into that. And the next thing that I realize that I can do when I'm in that anxious place is to spend time in meditation and just kind of get away from the environment and the situation and just sit down and go within and contemplate my highest self, connect with my highest self, and be present in the moment and just breathe into that moment. And for me, I get a lot of inspiration when I'm in meditation. And when I meditated, it started to open the possibilities of what could be for me and for Unity Church of Maui. And I realized that we have so many assets at our disposal. We have this amazing video equipment, and the technology that we have access to is so amazing. And I really got that there's something that I can do with technology to work to keep this ministry together. And then the next thing that I realize it's important for me is to get exercise. And so I committed to daily exercise, to get out and to walk, to do yoga when that worked for me, and to really work on my body, because I know that keeping this temple in shape helps me to do my spiritual work. And then the next thing that I did when I started to get these ideas was to take action. And so I started watching YouTube videos on how to make a YouTube video, how to use Facebook, how to use YouTube. And I started to get inspired with all these great ideas of things that I could do to hold this ministry together and to keep taking this message out to our community. And we started doing our spirit groups at that time on Zoom, and those have moved into Aloha groups. And it's like once I got in this ball sort of rolling, I had all kinds of great ideas of what we could do in our ministry that was new and exciting. So, and what's happening now that is so exciting is, we started the spirit groups. And those are small groups that meet in people's homes or really on Zoom calls. And it's been so exciting. We have about 30 people that are doing our what was spirit groups. But I was inspired for us to create something for us that had a Maui feeling. And so we created Aloha groups. And right now, we're working on the series, A Complaint-Free World. And it's like we've discovered this amazing technology that I see us using even when things go back to normal, whatever that looks like in the future. I know that we'll still use the Zoom groups to reach outside to the distances on Maui and even on the mainland. So if we take a breath and breathe into this moment, I've got some things that I'm going to suggest to you that I used to help you to let go of the worrying mind, or to at least to change the perspective so that you can use this worrying in a productive way. The first thing that I did was to stand up to my worried mind and ask it the 4 questions. Ask myself the 4 questions that Byron Katie showed us. And the first one is it true? Is this situation true? And I invite you to ask yourself that when there's something that's worrying you. To ask yourself, is this really true? And then, okay, it's true, you're experiencing it. And then, is it really true? Is it really true that it needs to cause the anxiety level to rise in you? Is it that worrisome? And the next question is, how do you feel when you believe that thought? How do you feel when you believe that fearful idea that have that fearful belief. And just kind of check in with yourself and see how you feel. How does that make you feel? And then the last question is, who would you be without that thought? How would you be in your body? How would you be present to what's happening with you in a particular moment if you did not believe that thought? And then the second thing as we work with this worry is to spend time in meditation and just practice being in the silence, or to listen to music if that works for you, but to spend some way of connecting with the essence of who you are, with that higher spirit, that higher truth. Oftentimes I ask myself, what needs to be done by me? I put it out to the universe. What needs to be done by me right now? We know that meditation helps us to get a new perspective in stressful situations. It helps us to build skills to manage stress. It increases our self-awareness. And it helps us to focus on the moment so we can be totally present to whatever is happening in our lives. And meditation can also help to reduce negative emotions. And the part that I love the best about it is that it increases our imagination and our creativity. Often that's the essence and the most powerful tools that we have to help us to deal with stressful situations. Just to call on that imagination, that creative part of us, to help us, to discern and move forward with things that we can deal with when we feel stressful. And the third step, as you know, is to exercise. Exercise is so important. Everyone knows that. You know that. But exercise helps us feel healthier. It can help us lose weight. It's good for our muscles and our bones. It's good for our mind. It's good for our memory. It can help us reduce the possibility of chronic disease. And it can help us with relaxation and sleep quality. Exercise. And then the last thing to do when we are feeling stressful, feeling anxious, is to do something about it. Now that you've gone through this process and you have some ideas of things you can do, what would you do? What kind of action would you take right now, today, in that moment, to follow up on the anxiety that you're experiencing so that you reduce it? And the next thing maybe you discovered in all this is you don't need to take any action at all. Maybe you discovered that there is really no need for action. Just this coping process that we've talked about has helped to alleviate the tension and the anxiety and the fear. And if that's the case, can you just let it go? Can you just let it all go? Let the worry go. Let the anxiety go. And take a breath and be in peace. And if action is necessary and you've done what you needed to do, can you then let it go and say to yourself, I did what I needed to do, and now I can be present. Now I can relax. Now I can be in this moment peacefully. Because I've felt the worry, I've experienced the worry, I've transformed it, I've done something about what seemed necessary, and now I can let it all go and just be in the moment, to be peaceful, to take a breath. Leo Buscaglia said, "Worry never robs tomorrow of its sorrow. It only saps today of its joy." Mary Crowley said, "Worry is, or every evening," she says, "I turn my worries over to God. He's going to be up all night anyway." I love that. Someone said, "Worry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. Someone unknown, I don't know if that was their name, but that's how I found the quote, said by unknown. There's a lot of quotes by that person. Said, worry is the dark room where negatives are developed. Wow, I love that. That's a great metaphysical term, yeah? Alan Cohen said, the mind is preoccupied with rehashing and rehearsing. In the cracks between those illusions, the real world lives. I love that. The mind is preoccupied with rehashing and rehearsing. Rehashing what happened and rehearsing what we think is going to happen in the future. And how many times do we worry about something that never even happens? Yeah? Rumi said, I want to sing like the birds sing, not worrying about who hears or what they think. The affirmation for today is, I release every thought of anxiety and worry and rest in the assurance that all things are working together for my highest good. Let's say that together. I release every thought of anxiety and worry and rest in the assurance that all things are happening for my highest good. And just feel that. Wow. I'm going to end this talk with a little story. And the author of the story writes, the carpenter I hired to restore an old farmhouse had just finished his first rough day on the job. A flat tire made him lose an hour of work. His electric saw quit. And now his ancient pickup truck refused to start. While I drove him home, he sat in stony silence. On arriving, he invited me in to meet his family. As we walked toward the front door, he passed briefly by a small tree, touching the tips of the branches with both hands. When opening the door, he underwent an amazing transformation as he walked in and hugged his children and kissed his wife. Afterward, we walked to the door, he walked me to my car, and we passed the tree, and my curiosity got the best of me, and I asked him about what I had seen him do earlier. Oh, that's my trouble tree, he responded. I know I can't help having troubles, but one thing's for sure. Troubles don't belong in the house with my wife and kids. So I just hang them on this tree every night when I come home. Then in the morning, I pick them up again. Funny thing is, he smiled, when I come out in the morning to pick them up, there ain't nearly as many as I remember hanging there the night before. I release every thought of anxiety and worry and rest in the assurance that all things are happening for my highest good. And so it is. Let's take a moment and join together in meditation. I invite you to close your eyes and to take a deep breath, breathing into this moment. And to look inside for that peaceful place. Perhaps to bring your attention to the area around your heart. And let's go there. I invite you to go there and to breathe into this place. This is the seat of truth in your mind and body. This is the seat of where spirit is active in you. The place that connects you with the essence and the truth of who you are. And as you relax there, take in this moment. take in this connection with your highest self, with the Spirit within you, with the presence of light, the essence of God. And to feel this peace. Breathing in and breathing out. In a moment, we'll join together for a short time in the silence. And I invite you to go deeper into this place. And just be aware of thoughts and let them go. And just let yourself move into this place of truth, of peace, of joy. And let's do that now as we breathe in and breathe out and join together in the silence. Breathing in and out consciously, and allowing your awareness to return to this moment. And to know that you can go to this place, to this sacred ground within yourself anytime, and connect with your higher self, and to bathe yourself in peace. And as you're breathing in and breathing out, I invite you to bring your awareness back to this moment, and to open your eyes when you're ready. Namaste. May you have peace of mind. May you have peace in your body. And may you be healthy in your mind, in your body, and in your spirit. And so it is. Thank you for being here today and enjoying this time with me and with us. And I'm so grateful for you, and so grateful that we have our community of people like you that I know that are doing powerful work on this planet during this challenging time. So thank you for all that you do. And I'd like to invite you now to prepare your love offerings and your contributions to Unity Church of Maui. We are blessed to share this energy of light and love with you, and know that your contributions help us in maintaining our beautiful property on High Street, to pay for our staff, and to allow us to do this beautiful work that we get to do. So I invite you to hold your check if you're going to send a check, or to contemplate what it is you'd like to give us monetarily today, as the substance that helps to nurture this ministry. So as you hold your intention or hold your check, let's affirm and pray together our prayer for prosperity and abundance. And let's do that together. Through a grateful, giving heart, my mind and life overflow with the abundance of God's all-providing, infinite supply. And so it is. Thank you. And you can send your checks to 483 South High Street in Wailuku. And you can also go on our website, www.unityonmaui.org, and connect on our absolutely secure and safe donate button and make a donation as well there. So thank you in advance for your gifts. Let's see, next week is the third and final talk based on this healthy mind, healthy body idea that I was inspired through the Buddha quote to give. And next week's part of that quote is live the present moment wisely and earnestly. So in our talk next week, we're going to look at how can we do that? How can we be earnestly and wisely present in this moment? And I know you know that you do your best work. Spirit, through you, as you, is able to do its best work when you are totally present in the moment and accessing this spiritual essence and truth to guide you in everything that you do. So we'll talk about what that looks like next week and how we can do it. So join us next week right here. And just one other announcement. You know, we're in the middle of a capital campaign to raise some funds for a van. And we've been very fortunate so far. I think we just went over the $2,000 mark this week. I think we got $2,050 right now. So I'd like to thank everyone who has given and invite you to contribute to this wonderful van that's going to carry us back and forth from the county building to county parking lot when we are back in our building again. And I'd invite you to give whatever you can, large or small. All gifts are appreciated, and we're so grateful that you can be a part of this campaign. So you can donate there the same way by sending your donation into the church in a check, and please write on it that it is for our van capital campaign. And you can also go to our donate button on our website and donate there. And it'd be great if you do donate there to send us an email to let us know that that was part of the capital campaign, because we like to keep things separate and clear in our books. So thank you for that. And let's see, all of our, this talk is available on YouTube, as well as other talks that are on YouTube and music. So I invite you to go back there and check those out. And you can also join the production, the showing of this video live on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock by going to logging in on Zoom. And the links to that are in our newsletter and on our webpage. And it'd be fun to have you and see you live on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. So I think that's about it for today. Thank you for being here. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I behold the Christ in you. So let's pray together our prayer for protection, which begins, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is. God bless you, friend. Aloha and mahalo.
Where I live, they're all raised.